Welcome, everybody. My name is Heath Reed. I'm really excited to be here for today's Hendricks How-To. I want to share one of my favorite Hendricks techniques called "And That's Over." This is one of the most simple and effective ways to let go of things that you no longer need. I've heard Gay and Katie say a number of times that nature abhors a vacuum. And the analogy or the application is, if you are in an open, spacious way and you're not being intentional, sometimes critical or complaining or blame-like negativity can occupy the space. And once that criticism, blame, complaint begins to take root, it's very difficult to release it, to pull the weeds out. And what I noticed is that because nature doesn't want even criticism to be ignored. If we're in a critical state of mind, if we're in an adversarial or a resistant, defensive, armored position, the universe, life, is going to reinforce that. So, "and that's over" is a great way to let go of negative thinking, negative feeling, especially if we notice that we're worrying, perseverating, or we're kind of stuck in the past of recent upsets or difficult challenges. Or maybe we're just facing really intense scenarios or experiences. So one way to consider "and that's over," how to apply that, is to consider a recent upset or something that's been nagging you. And the Hendricks like to say, if it's been nagging you 3 or more times, if you've been thinking about something and it's gotten your attention 3 or more times, well, that's the sign of an incompletion, right? The universe wants to complete. The universe wants to be done with that. We want to let go. And so think about something for a moment that's been maybe pestering you, and inwardly or outwardly say, "And that's over." And repeat it a few more times, because Hendricks are all about body-centered experiences. And so using your voice, using your vocal cords, "and that's over," uses your body, it uses your breath. "And that's over." Think of the thing that's bothering you, and that's over. Likely you're not facing it right here in this moment. Maybe it's something from the past, or it's something you're concerned about coming up in the future, but it's not present now. So we can presence ourselves and locate ourselves in the here and now by simply stating, and I like to play with inflection, "and that's over." You can play with your accent. "And that's over." Your volume, your pace, your rhythm. "And that's over." And of course, using your body. So maybe think of another, maybe there's an ache or a pain. You know, when I'm teaching my yoga classes and we do a really intense set and we finish up a routine or a real challenging pose, I remind everybody to inwardly reflect, "and that's over." Don't take the last asana, the last pose, the last positioning or posturing from what's happened before into the here and now. "And that's over." You can also use not only your voice and your breath as a body experience, but your hands. "And that's over." That upsetting conversation I had, and that's over. That worrisome challenge, or that unexpressed emotion, or that incomplete feeling or relationship, and that's over. The more dramatic we make it, both with our volume, using more of our body, even standing up. So I'm going to even take a stand. Feel free to join me if you like. So in addition to "and that's over," a lot of folks in healing fields, and I'm a body worker, I'm a touch therapist, as well as a movement therapist teacher. I do a lot of hands-on therapy, and I'm regularly looking for ways to detach. I'm in close proximity. So if you've got friends, family, maybe clients or patients that you are sharing really deep, intimate, emotional, or meaningful contact with, it's important to let go of those sessions, to let go of those interactions. So sometimes you can imagine just slashing, just cutting the cords, and maybe kind of like an umbilical cord to our mother for nourishment was where we first established our life essence, through embryo, through the uterus, the embryonic umbilical cord. So we can slash at the umbilicus. We can say, and that's over. And that's over in the front of us. Maybe our heartstrings are being tugged or pulled. Someone wants us to do something, or they have expectations or assumptions that aren't in alignment with our values, aren't calibrated with our authenticity. And that's over. And that's over. And that's over. Or sometimes you feel something in the back, like someone is trying to reach out and hold. And so you can also slash on the back, and that's over. I imagine my hands like little scissors, or you could, and that's over, and that's over. Or we can get like our big, powerful, you got a wrestling stance, and you can lift up your leg to say, and stomp down and feel the gravity of rooting down, and that's over. You can lift up anything that's been bugging you, lift it up a little, and then stomp your foot and smash it into the earth to be composted, and that's over. Anything that's distressing you, and that's over. A worrisome thought, and that's over. A idea or experience that keeps coming up that doesn't serve your highest, and that's over. One of my favorite ways, and this can be done, it doesn't have to be real dramatic like this. When I'm teaching groups of massage therapists, I'll be going around the room, maybe 20, 30, 40 different therapists I work with in like an hour or two, and coming to the table and helping their body mechanics or showing them strokes. And after I visit each table, to kind of intentionally complete from the arc of that experience, as I'm walking away from one table and going to assist the next person, I inwardly reflect, and that's over. Bringing myself home, not taking the last experience, the last person, place, or thing I was up to into the present moment. One of my favorite ways, and in medical Qigong and in lots of healing, hands-on healing, self-healing, healing with others, it's really important. And if you're doing coaching, or you're doing therapy, or you're doing anything intimate with folks, it's important to release the potential for transference, for picking up other people's stuff. And that's over. To simply punctuate, or say you've got business to get done and you've got your to-do list, right? And as you check things off the list, as you finish up one project, before you jump into the next project, punctuate the last project with, and that's over. Not only will you feel a sense of satisfaction that, oh, I've completed that, I finished that, there also won't be this niggle as though something is on the back burner, or I need to give attention to something, because you have, in your neurological system, in your mind, in your energy system, and in your physicality, you have acknowledged that that thing is indeed over. So you can give your full attention to who's here now, what's present, and how might I be present to what is here now. So purging practices is what they call it in healing parlance, and ways to release, to purge, to clear, to cleanse. And one of my favorite ways to transition and to land in the moment, to really stick the landing, is to, and that's over. I hope you like it. Practice it often. Practice it in a myriad of ways. The key is to make it fun, friendly, and playful. And so being spontaneous and making up your own riffs on it and making it applicable to you, to your style, is what's going to really cement its efficacy, its effectiveness, and your ability to release what no longer serves you and drop back into your essence, into your presence. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Katie and Gay Hendricks, for this incredible body of wisdom. And we hope to see you all at a future Hendricks How-To. Bye for now.